Coming up in today's video, I'll take you through how I paint my 12mm Fallschirmjäger from Victrix. These miniatures are crammed full of detail and are an absolute joy to paint. If you're a bit worried about painting 12mm models, don't be. This tutorial will cover all the paints I use and the techniques I use to really make those small details pop. Let me know at the end of the video how you found it and if you want to see more 12mm action in the future. We are venturing back into the 12mm realms. Today we're going to be looking at some 12mm Victrix Fallschirmjäger, and they were kindly donated to me by Steve. Now the sprue, as you can see, is fantastic, and ordinarily in the box set you'd get 196 figures with a whole range of different weapons: SMGs, MG42s, anti-tank weapons, and two different types of mortars, so the 50mm and the 81mm. But these were awesome to clean up and took very little time, and they look great painted. But if you want to know where to get them, you simply go to Victrix Limited. You can find their website here. You can get 10% off on your first order if you put your email in, so that's fantastic. You just got to subscribe to their newsletter. If you go down to the 12mm World War II range, you can see there's a whole variety of different stuff, and they are constantly updating as well. And you can go ahead and add those to your cart. So you can see there's a whole ton of information, and there's also plenty of pictures so you can see what you're going to get. Really fantastic stuff, and the detail is just superb at 12mm. Now when you're going to be painting these, you're going to be looking at what type of brush you're going to use. So I'm using this Rosemary & Co. Kolinsky Sabre brush, and I go with the 3/0, the 2/0, and the 0. These are fantastic brushes. I'm going to be doing more on this later. So once you've got your brushes and you've put your base coat down of German Camo Black Brown, you want to start with the main jacket. So I'm using Splinter Base through AK Interactive. It's part of the AK Interactive Splinter uniform set. It's a fantastic set. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. I use it on my 28mm, my 12mm, 20mm, 15mm as well. So all of them, covers all ranges. But alternatively, there are some Vallejo colors that keep popping up on the screen as well. And then I use German uniform, again part of the AK Interactive German uniform range. Something I use a lot as well, but if you want to stick primarily with Vallejo, you can use green grey for that as well. You can see here that this is just our initial base color. Now I'm trying to leave that black brown just to differentiate between the trousers and the jacket. I'm also using this green grey for the sleeping bag, or the bag that he's got on the back. If you had an MP40 pouch, I'd be using it on that as well, the bread bag and the weapon strap. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to keep the colors relatively similar, or the same, well, the same color actually, just to keep this process really quick. If you're going to be painting 196 of these, you don't want to be using a ton of different types of paint. And then for his Kar98 extra like pouches that are dangling over his neck, I'm using Luftwaffe uniform blue. I'll also be painting the helmet in this color. Now it's not realistic, especially for the later war periods, but for this scale I really want them to stand out, so I thought I'd mix it up a little bit and go against my normal way of doing things and paint them in this blue. Let me know in the comments if you think that it's a good idea. If not, you can just whack on some sort of khaki or middle stone and give them a sort of a German yellow helmet. And then for the wood, I use flat earth. My wood technique really doesn't change between the different size of miniatures. I just find that this works really nicely. Trying to leave some of that metal untouched that we're going to be painting up later, just so there's less cleanup that you have to do. Now we can go ahead and tidy up the metal, so I'm using black grey for that. So with the Kar98, I'm just capturing where the bolt and the mechanism is there. There's sort of like a bit that goes around near the barrel, the actual barrel itself, and also his boots and any other metal items. So the MG42 and the MP40 were all painted in that color as well. Now I want to tidy up, so I'm tidying up the webbing straps here. So the Y strap, I'm putting it German Camo Black Brown, so that's our initial prime color that I've used. I'm going back over it with that, I'm also tidying up any mistakes that I've made on the helmet or on the face and anywhere else. Now I want to pay attention to the water bottle, so I'm using English uniform with that. And with all of that done, I now want to give it a wash. So I give it a wash of no oil and a thinner, and I'd give that at a 1:1 ratio, and I coat it on the model. Now if you don't thin it down nicely, you're gonna have a model that's super dark. I'm trying to just darken it, but not to the point where the whole model just looks black, which is what will happen if you just use the initial wash straight out of the bottle. Once you're happy with that and it's dried, you want to then go back over with the initial colors that we use. So Splinter Mustard Base, or Splinter for our jacket, and you can see already, although the it's struggling to focus, but you can see already that it's starting to really pop. And now I'm just picking out the details. There's loads of details on these tiny models, but you can use this paint to make them even better as well. So I'm just using the details here just to really emphasize certain areas, and then I go with Splinter Base and white, so any particular white, doesn't have to be Vallejo. Mix the two together and start capturing those details. You can see I'm capturing the creases on the arms, and then I'll run a little bit of paint just underneath so you can see where the elbow would be tucked under, and now I'm just capturing the outer edges of the jacket. This is really going to draw the eye and know that it's like a sort of Splinter jacket. Now I want to go over the trousers with green uniform. Just as we did exactly the same process as what we did with the Splinter. Now I won't be painting any camo stripes on the Splinter. I just think at this scale it just will take away from all the detail that's on there. You can do, and did attempt it, I just wasn't happy with it, and I just think for the sake of it I'm just going to use them as plain jackets. So that's really is your call, but we won't be covering that today. And then to highlight the trousers, I'm using green uniform and white, and also obviously we'll be highlighting the webbing as well, or parts of the webbing, his bag, weapon strap, MP40 pouch, etc. So you can see I'm just adding little dots, and at this scale it's literally just a dot on the top of each part and then a dot at the bottom of each part, and then you can see, oh, there's 3 pouches or 3 sections to that pouch. Now I want to go over the wood again with Flat Earth, just leaving the darker bits in the tops and bottoms of it, and just slowly building up to a brighter colour, and then we use orange brown as the final highlight for the wood. Now for the actual Y straps and parts of the webbing that we haven't touched, I use German Camo medium brown. This is my highlight, so the base color is the German Camo black brown, the highlight is this medium brown. And then we want to go back over the Luftwaffe uniform blue. So paying particular attention to obviously the guy that had the straps of the extra ammo, and then we want to go Luftwaffe uniform blue and white, and just adding little details. I'm just going around the outer edge of his helmet and just the very top part, adding on little tiny dots where those extra pouches were. Now we can go back over the shoes with black grey and just adding little bits of detail here and there, going over any other metal parts on the bayonet and on his weapon. And once we've done that, we can highlight the metal parts with base Leadbelcher from Citadel, and you can really just dry brush this on, honestly, on the weapons at this scale, and that's what I was doing with this particular paintbrush, albeit very roughly. And they should have something that looks similar to this. It's probably hard to really make out, but in person it really does look good. And once you've done that, we want to then focus on the flesh. So I'll start off with the AK set and its base flesh, so it's the flesh and skin set. And again, with these 12mm models, it's literally just adding colors in, but you don't have to really go too crazy, just little blobs here and there. As poor as that sounds, really will help you a lot. If you start going too crazy on this, it's just going to drive you nuts, because you're going to need to get 196 of these done. And if you're anything like me, you want to get them done as quickly as you can. And you're not going to achieve that if you pay too much time on it. So in all honesty, these four probably took me about an hour and a half, which for me is really good. You might be thinking an hour and a half on 12 mil seems a bit excessive. It's really not when you factor in how great they can really look with the detail that Victrix have provided. So taking the extra half an hour to make it pop really is worth your time. Now we want to highlight, so I use light flesh, and I'm just adding in bits of where the cheeks would be, the chin, if you can see the top of the face and the nose, adding in there, perhaps the neck if you can see that, and then the outer parts of the hands, and then if you can attempt it, a couple of fingers, which is what I've actually done here, because again, the detail's there. So if they've got the detail there and you've got a fine pointed brush, you're going to work wonders with this method. Obviously, if you're using a very old and battered brush, all I'm going to say is good luck to you, because these are so bloody tiny that it's really hard. So I don't know how the people that I know that paint 6mm stuff do it, because this was hard enough. But very rewarding at the end of it. I was very happy with the outcome, and it makes me want to paint loads more up. I just don't have the time at the minute. And then the final part is highlight flesh. You can see it's a really like a whiter flesh color, and I'm just adding in little tiny dabs of it here and there. So you can see there's a couple of fingers there, the outer part of the hand, and you'll just do the same. The tip of the nose, tip of the chin, and a tiny bit on each cheek, and bosh, you are done. And then it should look something like this, hopefully. So as I said, you might not want to opt for the blue helmet. You can just go with like a middle stone for the German yellow helmet. But the details there, I think I've captured most of it really nicely. I'm chuffed. I love them. I love these. I never didn't think I'd like 12mm as much, but yeah, really do love these. So let's go and get these based, and I'll see you in a second. So here they are, they're based and ready to go, ready to see some action. Now, for those of you that know the gaming system that these have been based for, I won't mention it. But yeah, this is what I'll be basing them for. And I think the bases look really good. They look cool. I'm really happy with them. When there's 196 of these chaps finished, they're going to look superb. And I need to get some German armor involved with that as well, because I think that would look even better. Now, I did say at the start of this video that I will be doing the giveaway for the French extra support teams that I've received. So the winner of that will be announced right now. So the winner is, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm just going to go with V. So if you've seen this, please comment below and I will send them off to you. I've also got an email address in my about section that you can also email if you want to. So other than that, guys, a huge thanks goes out again to Steve and my Patreons. Thanks to Steve for sending me the models, and obviously for my Patreons for supporting me. If you're new here, please do like and subscribe. If you've enjoyed this tutorial and you want to see more, please let me know. I have some Russians that are also in the work, so that tutorial shouldn't be too far away. But other than that, guys, I will stop it here and I will catch you at the next one. Cheers.